Rotations. So we're going to take shapes and we're going to rotate them usually around the origin. So for today's purposes, it's going to be around the origin. Now, when we're dealing with rotations, as mathematicians, we always prefer things to go counterclockwise. So if it just says 90 degrees, assume counterclockwise. It'll usually say counterclockwise. So for instance, let's just say that I started out over here. 90 degrees counterclockwise would be to here. So if I'm moving something 90 degrees, it goes to about there. If I keep moving and I get to about here, that's 180 degrees. Here would be 270 degrees, and here 360 degrees. So you might have heard like doing a 180 on a skateboard means you start in one direction and head the other. That's literally a 180 degree turn. If you do a 360, it means you come back to where you were. So you are facing the same exact direction. Now, you will see things as clockwise occasionally, and it's basically only 90 degrees. If you do a 90-degree clockwise turn, it's the same as a 270-degree counterclockwise turn. So while all of your rules are going to be in counterclockwise, just know that a 90 degrees clockwise is the same as a 270-degree counterclockwise. You end up in the exact same direction. So this is a 90 degrees clockwise. And you end up in the same counterclockwise location as the 270-degree turn. If we were in school, I would be having you practice this using patty paper and literally turning a piece of paper to get things to work. So we're unfortunately not in school, so we're just going to go straight to the rules. So here are the rules. Super important. If you need to, pause it right now and write these down. I abbreviated counterclockwise as CCW because who wants to write counterclockwise a million times? And all of these rules are if you're going about the origin, which means the origin is your center of rotation. So this is your center of rotation. So if you were to take a point and rotate it 90 degrees counterclockwise, you would take that point, which is x comma y, and you would make it negative y comma x. So you flip the numbers and make the new first number, which was the y, negative. If you were to rotate something 180 degrees, and notice I don't have counterclockwise next to it because 180 degrees clockwise and 180 degrees counterclockwise, you end up in the same spot. So it doesn't actually matter which direction you are technically turning in. 180 degrees is 180 degrees. So the way that you rotate that is you take your point and you just make both of them the opposites. For a 270 degree counterclockwise, which is the same as 90 degree clockwise, same rule, you're going to flip the two numbers, so you're going to change x's and y's position, and then make x negative, or the opposite. So we're going to use these rules to rotate a couple of shapes. So for our first one, we are going to rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise about the origin. So this is where we're going to be rotating it from. That's kind of like your pivot point, what you're going to rotate around. So like if you've ever been on a merry-go-round, the middle is your origin. That's what you're rotating around, okay? So our rule is x comma y becomes negative y comma x. So make sure you have your rules, okay? So I'm going to write the coordinates of our points. So A is at 1, comma 1, B is at 1, 2, 3, comma 1, 2, 3, 3, comma 3, and C is at 4, comma 2. So to find my new points, I'm going to change their position, because notice it says y, comma x instead of x, comma y. And then I'm also going to take the opposite of our y value. So this is going to become negative 1, comma 1. I flipped around the 1 and 1. I know it doesn't look like it, but technically I did. And I changed the sign of the first value. Same thing with the 3, comma 3 becomes negative 3, comma 3. This one's a little more easy to actually see. I'm going to put the 2 first, take its opposite, and make the 4 second. So if I graph those points, negative 1, comma 1 is my A prime. Do not forget your prime notation. Negative 3, comma 3 is my B prime. And negative 2, comma 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 is my C prime. So if I were to rotate triangle ABC, I would get triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. So that is a 90-degree counterclockwise turn right there. Let's try one more. 180 degrees around the origin. So I have my points A, B, C. A is at -1, -1. B is at 2, 3. And C is at 3, 0. So my rule is I do not have to flip them. I just have to change all of their signs. So A prime becomes +1, +1. B prime is now -2, -3. And C prime is -3, 0, because -0 is not a thing. If I graph my points, 1, 1 is A prime, -2, -3 is B prime, and -3, 1, 2, 3, 0 is C prime. So this is my new triangle, rotated 180 degrees about the origin. So write down your rules, and that is what you're going to use to do all of your rotations.